Bombad.
Welcome to the Bombadcast.
Welcome, one and all, Bombad fam, to the Bombadcast. Experience Outranks Everything, a Clone Wars After Arc show. And might I add, this is the world's first After Arc show, guys. We are making history, as always, on the Bombadcast.
It might not be the world's finest, but it's definitely the world's first.
We aren't in this game to make the world's finest content. We're in this to
make the first of it.
To make the first of everything, and then
you can literally 3D print this episode. So it's going to be the world's first 3D printable episode ever of a podcast.
That would it print out just like the sound waves?
Yes.
Or something? Or I was gonna say, or would it be like two like maquettes of like just like busts of us?
We can
like
design
talking.
that. I'm not even kidding. If you had a 3D,
dude, we should make maquettes.
Hit us up if you have a 3D printer. I'll find.
If you have a 3D printer and you want to make maquettes of me and Scotty, they have to be maquettes. So like maybe like not just busts, maybe like a full statue.
Yes.
Like the little maquettes they used to make of like the Rancor.
You can light candles around it. Anyway, the world's first After Arc show.
After our show.
We're here.
We'll get it by the time we reach the last arc of the show. That's right. The after arc show, because it's very fitting for the world's first after arc show to be for Clone Wars, which is a very, very. The arcs in the show are very specifically almost always 4 episodes.
Yes,
and it is also the show that taught most of us what story arcs actually are. Mm-hmm. So here we are, Scotty. Here we are. Bad Batch, number 1.
It's exciting.
Arc number 1.
It's exciting because we knew this season going in it's going to be 12 episodes. So I thought maybe the first arc will be 3 or 4 just to kind of get it over with. But I'm very excited that it was the time it was, and they didn't really waste any time. There was no pointless episodes. We got Echo back, and we got introduced to some great characters, and like, dude, we said it before in one of our episodes, but how nice was it to have it back? You know, and like it felt like you were literally just binge watching the next episode of a series, you know? And it like goes right into it. No special opening, no differences. It was amazing. Yeah. It was amazing.
One subtle difference. They moved wars to the top of the like circle, Star Wars circle thing.
Yeah.
Like Empire Strikes Back style thing.
Star Wars circle thing.
So yeah, the Star Wars circle thing is not star on the top and wars on the bottom. So, you know, we're Star Wars fans. We meticulously keep track of all the changes of any Star Wars content.
Of course.
And you guys will hear an extended conversation of that coming up.
Yes.
Sizzle Sizzle this Friday.
With Hello Greedo.
Mr. Hello Greedo, yes.
And then remember
of the Hello Greedo page.
Might as well plug it now before we
am I? I'm sorry. Am I on like? What is it? I'm saying. I guess Facebook is what I'm thinking. I was trying to think of MySpace. I think. So
Jerry just got the first. I'm not even gonna say it. Never mind. I was gonna make a bad joke. I'm not gonna do it. Anyway, remember, join into
we usually don't stop, but
I don't want to. But join into our live stream tomorrow as well. If you're listening to it in the day of dropping on 3/19. But Hello Greedo.
We got a lot of stuff to talk about. We're gonna just like hang out and talk, guys.
Yes.
We're gonna get through this. We're gonna get through all of this. Unless it's over by now on Wednesday. I don't think it is.
I doubt it.
Probably not. They just like start dumping the cure from helicopters on everybody, like delousing us essentially.
But no, I guess back to the main discussion. I'm sorry, we got a little derailed there. We've been recording for a while.
It's our signature.
Yeah.
We're hyped, dude.
We are hyped. We are in very high hopes and spirits. But with that being said, like it just felt like such it felt like I was sitting on my couch again, beginning years of college, like watching Clone Wars on Netflix for the very first time. And I was
dude.
it felt amazing. I was like, wow, just right back into it, you know? And
Right.
the intro's great, the voiceover's back, the cinematography's so nice, and like almost immediately you kind of feel like that, you know, Anakin's hair's long again. Like you notice that time has passed, and they're kind of leading into Revenge of the Sith. And ultimately, we don't know the outcome of this entire first season, but I have a gut feeling we're going to see some incredible tie-ins that we did not expect. Because we know this, Jerry can confirm, these first couple episodes were like already fully animated. Like everything was already done for this, voice acting and everything, right? Not fully animated.
Well, yeah, they had the animatics.
The animatics, yeah.
Right. Well, and apparently they added a couple of scenes too. I didn't know. In the first episode, shout out to Jason and Gabe and Blast Points. They're the ones who I heard this from. Actually, they had an amazing Clone Wars love fest. Go listen to that. But no, dude, they were talking about how the part with Rex in the barracks.
Yeah.
Looking at the picture of like Echo and Fives and all that,
it's good.
And that was added because it used to just be like he kind of mentioned that he thinks that Echo might be alive or whatever in the briefing room with Mace and Anakin. Mm-hmm. So I love that they added that because that just added so much, like it felt emotional. And like I was getting emotional like looking at these. I remember the first time I watched this guy, I don't know if you did, but like we're back. It's like we never left, but at the same time getting emotional because like we're connected to these clones now, right? Like that's one of the best things that they did, and this was Lucas, man. Like Lucas, like wanted to get more, and Filoni, they wanted to get more into these like characters of the clones to show that it's not just a bunch of Jango Fett's walking around.
Nope.
These are like clones in Star Wars. That's why I'm about to go off on a rant.
Here we go.
So, like whenever we soapbox, we need like the soapbox graphic, even though this is a podcast. Whenever people are like upset about like Palpatine clones and like other people cloning each other in Star Wars, I'm like, but clones don't work the same way that we think of. We think of clones in like the straight up crazy sci-fi way where it's like someone died and they cloned them or something, or they think they're the person. Mm-hmm. Clones in Star Wars are just like, you take the DNA of this person and maybe they have a little bit of their fighing prowess or whatever. They have their good genes.
Yes.
But their brains, the way they work is their the personalities are their own. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. And again, I haven't read the Rise of Skywalker novelization or listened to it at this point yet, recording of this. Mm-hmm. But I don't know, like clones are never what we think they are. No. Like it's not like, it's more hand wavy, which people don't like, but I love that the clones are front and center in this. And again, that you don't have cookie cutter clones in the Bad Batch that we meet in this episode. Mm-mm. So, but I don't know, I've seen the animatics and stuff, Scott, like we were talking about that. But we got our first real look, and that's when I first noticed, again, that it was the animatic stuff. But that was, I think, where they first dropped that the Celebration, the Clone Wars panel was where they kind of showed, like, Bad Batch is going to be in this.
So good.
Even though, like, I guess you saw them in the trailer, the reveal trailer, too. You saw, like, but to see that fully animated was phenomenal because that scene you could tell in the animatic, like this is supposed to be something big.
Yes.
And I don't know, what do you remember about all that Celebration footage?
From Celebration, remember like the feeling of the room, like everyone that wanted to be there was there, like even us, like we found a way to get, and I won't disclose how, but luckily we found a way to get VIP and be able to sit like 2 rows away from the front. We were like honestly, if I were to be a good enough sport athlete tycoon, I could have thrown a football and Ashley Exxon could have caught it, like near her feet, because I wouldn't have been that good of a throw. So we were that close. But it was one of those moments that was like exhilarating, and everyone was there that wanted to be there. And the footage we got, all of it looked amazing, and like the interviews were great. All like the whole cast for the past 10 years were there. And, like, it was just a special moment for everyone. But with that being said, we saw, like, a minute and a half maybe of the Bad Batch arc when they first they first like crash land that Imperial not Imperial Jesus Republic Republic gunship. Yep, sorry.
Yep.
And
I can't remember the letter and number
neither can
designation, but
neither can I. But when they showed that and they showed the dynamic of these characters, it was amazing. So I'm just really digging like this whole comeback of things that feel familiar, things that feel, right. And, like, these new characters fit right in perfectly. And, like, I don't know, it was so refreshing. The cinematography for those first 2 or 3 episodes were, like, unreal. Like, it was nothing like Clone has ever done. Cameras that followed the characters to that little area where they found that Echo was still alive. Like, all of it was so good.
Oh. Well, and talking about the slight changes and stuff, something that I've been noticing that I don't really think I noticed in the older seasons. You'll have to tell me if I'm just not remembering correctly, Scotty. But, in the opening when we get the basically opening crawl with Tom Kane, like doing the announcer voice, like, war and all that. The shots, they started with these new episodes doing like almost like the fade-ins of like, and they never get full. It's almost like a 90s or an 80s music video almost of like Anakin brooding and stuff, real quick. And then like back to all this stuff. Come on, Jack. Jack is making his, he's making his cameo he always makes in my lap here. But I don't know, the look and just the way that they can. I don't know if they couldn't do that before, but it looks kind of neat.
It looks amazing.
I don't know, like it's crazy that we have this again.
It is, and that's the whole feeling of the room. And like to kind of go on and kind of get past this little section we're kind of in now. I want to talk about the Bad Batch themselves. Great characters, great look. The whole idea behind them was amazing. Yeah, with these new characters and like the Bad Batch themselves, man, I want to kind of get into it. But for you, Jerry, who is your like favorite? Because let me make sure I'm correct on this. Wrecker, you got Crosshair, you got Hunter, and you've got Tech. And of course, we learn later if you haven't watched episode 4 or these 3 episodes, this will spoil it for you.
This is we're an after arc show, not an after show.
No.
We're not after the episode. No. We're not Talking Dead here, okay?
We are the whole arc.
The whole arc, man. And you better have been gone by now because here it comes.
Echo.
Echo is a part of the Bad Batch.
It's awesome. It's so good.
It's kind of cool because it's like he gets that armor and it's like, yeah, of course he fits. He's got the skull aesthetic and all that. Yeah.
I don't know, who's your favorite character? Mine would be very unexpected from me, but who is your favorite?
Man, I don't know. I think I'm gonna be the guy who. I think I'm going to cheat and say I love the dynamic of all of them.
Me too. The dynamic was incredible.
Because they all work pretty good together. Wrecker was just kind of funny.
Yeah.
I kind of liked the sense of humor there. Just all of them, like, Crosshair has that like whole John McEnroe, like bad boy of tennis thing going on. And Tech, they all just have so much to love. Like, and I love that we've got like the A-team of Star Wars.
Pretty much dude, good point. I never thought about their name being
It's the A-team of Star Wars, dude, for real.
Seriously. I don't know.
And Clone Force 99, again, nice touch.
Yes.
As all of us were saying along with Rex.
Yes, with tears in our eyes.
Oh, man.
Tears streamed.
That was such a great... I love that they brought that back.
Me
because
too.
It's just... Again, shows you how we feel about these clones and stuff.
How much it's changed, too.
But, like, I don't know. What about you, Scott? Who's your favorite?
It's so funny because I feel like any other adult on the internet would be like, ugh, I love Wrecker. Because he's like if I was a little kid still and I was watching this show, I'd be like, I'm like Wrecker. And that's like, I think it's that character's aesthetic. But you could easily, as an adult, when I first watched it, I rolled my eyes. But I'm like, you know what? If I was a kid, this is the character I would have been like, that to me,
Yeah.
Kind of goofy, like, I want to break and blow up things. Like, it's just...
Yeah.
He's 90s, you know?
Well, you're talking. Well, yeah, you're talking about like, if you're a kid, you would have like, and like this 100% like reeks of, and okay, reeks is probably the wrong word to use, but just absolutely oozes 90s, 80s and 90s action cartoons.
It does.
It's G.I. Joe. It's the four characters who are a team. It's the Ghostbusters. It's the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yep.
It's everyone. Everyone has a specialization and everyone has a personality. And you're like, I'm the strong guy, or I'm the leader, or I'm the guy who's good at like shooting things, or like the guy who's it's the DNA of like what those action cartoons were back then.
I'm trying to think of more just to yell.
They're like everywhere, man. I mean, like everything was like that back in the 90s and the 80s and 90s. And I mean, A-Team again, like I don't know why I said it like the A-Team, put the emphasis on the wrong syllable. But the A-Team though is like I think the best thing you can kind of see, because you have the strong guy, you have the guy who's the brains, and you have the guy who's like the leader, who's just kind of all around good or whatever at everything, and then you've got your good at marksmanship or whatever guy, and it's a cross of a few different things, and it was brilliant. Dave and company, kudos. Well, so good.
Hunter's force sensitive, and that'll be revealed later.
You heard it here first.
Well, I really do think he is, because, like, just to kind of give you my 2 cents, the idea of him being force sensitive is really clever, because it'd number one be a really good, like curveball to throw, but like the fact that he like feels vibrations, in the ground, like I don't know, that's pretty,
kind of like Finn in the Rise of Skywalker. How do you know? A feeling,
exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, and back on the thing I was ranting about earlier about how clones in Star Wars are not clones in any other thing that you see clones in.
Yeah.
They're not copies. It's, in a way it is, but it's like these are people with personalities and stuff, and it would be just kind of a better thing. Why wouldn't one of them be force sensitive? The Force chooses a clone. How insane would that be?
Exactly.
That would make it even. And I love let's make the Force more mystical. I don't want to understand everything about the Force. Like
exactly.
Who cares how it works? Like
exactly.
It's the Force, man. Let's do new and exciting things, and that would be kind of cool, man. A force sensitive clone. So
it would be.
Yeah, you know what, Scotty?
It'd be very Dave.
I'm more, dude. I'm more and more with you. I don't know if they'll like. It's obviously they didn't reveal it by the end of this, but like if it's something they continue somewhere else down the line.
Let's be honest. Knowing those clones, they probably took their inhibitor chips out. Let's be real. So.
Oh, dude, they probably like when they found out about like fives, they were probably like, I don't want one. Wrecker's like, I don't want one of those little potato chip things in my head.
Yeah,
or whatever. So
that's totally. We'll see.
They have hot chocolate in the universe, so why not potato chips, right?
And refreshers and Life Day. One thing I will say is these first 4 episodes did not do that much for canon, and I will admit that. It did do one thing though that leads us to a huge reveal that like Twitter blew everywhere blew up. Reddit, Twitter, all the places were like, "Whoa!" Which was the Obi-Wan being aware of Padme and Anakin, which was incredible. And like she was slightly pregnant, but probably not enough for him to notice, which is something I want to get into a little bit. Like a little bit of a bump that we were aware of, but maybe he wasn't aware of because he's under pressure. He's doing this in secret. I don't know. What do you think, Gerald?
Let's be honest. Not to be like stereotypical of straight white males, but sometimes we're not the smartest when it comes to the feminine things about like that stuff. No, again, I'm being silly and dated.
Generalizing.
As well. I'm generalizing and putting people into boxes, blah blah blah, yada yada yada. No, Anakin is not the most observant person.
No,
by the
obviously
not. Chosen one, the boy may be at grave. What is it? Inability to pay attention. I sense in his future, but. I don't know. And when you look back at it, it's not like they don't like do a close up. I feel like they do a close up in the trailer.
Yeah, they kind of do.
But I don't remember like a close up of it because we know, and it's supposed to be like a we know.
Yeah.
And she's probably like, I don't know. I like to go into the characters' heads in these moments to be like, can you imagine Padme like being like scared?
Oh, I bet.
Coruscant, like pregnant, like what? Like she knows. Man. You got to know 100%. She knows. And like, just being there, like wanting to tell him, but being like, this isn't the right time.
Exactly.
He's like way out, like, and not that it's like, oh, he's a big strong man out fighting the war, but like he is out on the front lines, just like he's in a war. Yes. He is in a war, and it's like she's like fighting the politics,
yes,
fighting the political part of it, and it's like there's so much going on, and she's like, there's too much. This needs to wait.
Yes.
It's I don't know, but the big thing of this, the big thing to me, Scotty, wasn't that Obi-Wan actually knew.
What was it?
Because we saw that. What was it in when he's talking to Anakin about whenever the Rush Clovis episodes from the last season, the last season,
yeah.
He's like he comes and talks to him, which I know a lot of people think that should come before like Maul kills Satine, but I don't know. For me, it still works because he's saying, about Satine. You can still talk about someone like that because they live on in your memory. I don't think that has to be before that because he mentioned Satine. Yeah. It's got to be before she dies. I feel like it would be, to me it makes more sense that it's after she dies.
Exactly.
Because it's on his mind and he's like, look, I get it. And you know about me and Satine, man, and like trying to talk to him.
I forget about that.
It adds more to the Obi-Wan in Revenge of the Sith, like knowing about Padme and just not even saying anything about it when he's like talking to her about how he's got to go find him.
Yep.
And then turns around and goes, Anakin's the father, isn't he? Oof. I'm so sorry.
Yep.
It adds more, dude. This is going to add so much more weight to this whole season. Is going to make Revenge of the Sith even better.
Oh, it will.
Than it all. And but again, I digress to the big thing that I was insanely losing it over was that Cody knew.
Yeah, and he was like hiding it.
Not Cody. Rex.
Even
that
better.
Rex was like helping him hide.
Yes.
And using his helmet so he had an alibi. Like, that's the part where I was like, Rex knew. Like, I was downstairs, I was watching it at home, 5 a.m. before I went to work.
Yeah.
Going, like, out loud in my living room. Rex knew. What?
Waking up your kids, your wife.
And like we know that Ahsoka knew because of Galaxy of Adventures,
of course,
or not Galaxy of Adventures,
Forces of Destiny.
Forces of Destiny, and I love that they're like people aren't stupid.
Yes,
but like no one really did anything because they're like, well, we know something's going on. We don't know the details.
Yeah,
Scotty, you pontificate. Well, for a bit, sir.
My moment where I was like, oh wait, this is awesome, was the fact that like they're talking and you're not worried about them talking so much or even what they're talking about. It's it's like it's classic Star Wars, 2 different things happening at once. And you're kind of having to keep them, they're both occurring at the same time, was the whole Obi-Wan walking up and then Rex noticing him and like, oh God, like we got to hurry up and get this done, knocking on the door,
and that was actually a pretty tense moment
too,
even though like I kind of felt like.
That's what made me nervous.
It did surprise me. The ending part, but go ahead.
Yeah, well then of course the reveal and he walks back out and he's like, oh, I had to go grab this for Rex or whatever it was. And then, it's when Obi-Wan's walking away and he goes, tell Padme next time hello or whatever. Whatever.
Well, Anakin's walking off to get on the ship with Rex. Yeah. And he's like, he says, so like, tell her I said hi or like, I hope you enjoy, or Padme's doing well or something
like that. It's it's amazing.
I think I think I used some big boy words when that happened because that was like surprising, man. Like holy crap, man.
That was my S word moment for real.
Like,
I was like
holy crap.
He just went there.
It's like Obi-Wan knows, but just I guess it doesn't surprise me that he knows, but just that he like straight up was like, "Oh, that's why you're in there. You're in there talking to Padme
in private. It's so
and that's
good.
just another step from I know you have feelings for Padme.
Yes.
To he's the father, isn't he?
Yes.
I'm so sorry. That's another wrinkle that is just like
so tasty.
You're sexting with Padme, aren't you? You're sexting at least, right? Like, I mean, I can see Obi-Wan be like, I'm hip, I'm cool, right?
Right?
I know what it's like to love a woman.
Can I'll say it later. One of my favorite moments so far of the season was in episode 4, but I'll tell you about that later. And I think the same for you, Jerry.
I think it's a big moment.
Which no one's been talking about. What the hell's up with that?
I'm surprised that no one freaked out about it. We gotta move on.
We'll save it.
Well, you want to talk about
our friend?
The return of this mother.
Okay.
This guy who completely beat my beloved Zhao Yaoza in the March Madness tournament. Are we going to that? What are we going to?
Yes, because I want to say one thing about...
You say his name because I don't want to darken my door with
Wat
that.
Tambor. Like, I was looking at him.
I love
Wat
Tambor, actually.
I was, like, analyzing him. That is by far, like, one of the coolest Star Wars character designs... But the most B movie, not the B movie, but like B like space serial, awful voice and like movement. The fact that he like floats and his arms like are always like he looks. I wish you could see me, but like I'm like,
dude,
he's like the techno
Union Army.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's such a weird Star. That is, I honestly. Probably deserve to beat Zhao Yaoza, but that's just me. I just like
I have extra love for Zhao Yaoza, but I do love Wat Tambor.
Yes.
And ever since I went and watched Attack of the Clones in theater, and that guy was like, Techno Union Army. Wow. I loved it. I loved it, man.
Weird.
You know, I love the weird stuff and all that. And like, by the way, I described him as how cool of an aesthetic is right, because it's like George was like, let's have a planet of guys that are steampunk frog muffins.
Yeah.
Steampunk frog muffins. And like they doubled down on the steampunk because the rig that they get Echo out of,
oh my god,
almost looks like the console that they in Captain America: The First Avenger and stuff.
Yes,
and like, it looks so like are we like playing BioShock right now? Like,
dude,
what's going on?
And the droid designs. I love by the that way.
What is up with that? Is that the
amazing? No one else has talked about. I think we're the first to really talk about it. I don't know.
I mean,
I think they're so cool.
They're it's like ostriches and stuff, and then they like had the dragonfly wings. It's like, what is going on with these things?
They're like
they have battle droid voices.
They're like, you can see them only from one angle, almost. You know? They're like velociraptors to me, to be honest.
I need to. I will admit I haven't watched the behind the scenes that they've been releasing every week with.
Neither have I.
I need to be watching this because they might be I mean, everything's been, for one thing, the world's ending, so you know who knows. Sorry, I'm just kidding. Hope you guys are all
dropping movies when they're new now. They don't even care. They're just like,
you're completely stocked up on toilet paper right now.
Yeah. They're pretty much like in Disney Plus, any streaming service is like, hey, this movie that's not gonna the movies that are in theaters are not gonna come out until another year from now, and the movies that you've been waiting for them to release are just gonna drop out of nowhere.
We have everything banked, actually.
Yes.
We just drop it. Yeah. We make these in a computer now.
Dude, I really
there are no real actors.
This is so random, but I really thought they were going to end up dropping what movie on demand? There was a movie that's releasing, not Mulan, some like big movie. Oh,
that would be insane, man.
But it would make I'm gonna look it up. Keep talking.
Anyway, but just the whole and again, we need to rewatch this. But like, yeah, what is up with those droids? They were cool. And I instantly remembered them from when watching the animatics stuff. It's just so cool. It sticks out. It's a great design. But I don't know. I just love that whatever Wat Tambor is, the Techno Union at least,
Yes.
but whatever their species is, I don't know. It's like they're the steampunk version of the galaxy and stuff, which is
Just think about their name, the Techno. That makes no
Techno
damn
Union.
sense.
It sounds like
stupid.
it sounds like one of those bands like that tried to like that would open for Mannheim Steamroller or something like back in the 80s, you know? Like, we're the Techno Union. We wear pyramid hats and we play we play recorded computer noises.
Alan
Beep,
Parsons
bop,
Project.
bop, beep, beep,
Kraftwerk.
beep, beep.
Yeah.
It's like the song on SpongeBob SquarePants that Mr. Krabs likes to listen to that he thinks he's a robot because it's like beep boop beep boop bop.
Yes.
Boop boop beep. But anyway, dude, do you got that? Do you got the movie pulled up?
No, I couldn't find anything. I thought I could, but there was some movie releasing that I'm like, they could have really just dropped the digital and it would have sold like really well. But
probably.
With that being said, with Watt, we find out that I love that they're using like terms like algorithm. That just sounds so.
Yeah,
that's to me.
algorithm.
That's such a 2020 word algorithm. So like. The fact that that word is being thrown around and the fact that Echo's the one controlling it is genius, number one. And the fact that, like, how he's introduced is great. And the fact, and I keep saying the fact, Jesus. It's like a Matrix kind of thing, too. They're pulling tubes out of his head and stuff.
Dude, yeah.
It made me gross out.
Like,
it freaked me out a little bit. I did not like that.
The Matrix. It
grossed me out. It was like, I was expecting, like, Ridley Scott, like, this weird yellow liquid pour out of his skull or something. I was like... dreading that experience, but
yeah,
I love that Tech. Everyone had a job. I do like that. Wrecker and Crosshair were like steady, like killing things, and Hunter was trying to help too. And I don't know, like Hunter was on the lookout. It's just cool. It's just I love that whole dynamic, and Anakin using the Force to bring Wrecker back into the tube was amazing.
Oh yeah, that was
it's cool. So I don't know. I like that Echo has returned. I didn't expect that, to be honest with you. I never watched the animatics, but it was a clever way to do it. And I don't really remember his character all that well from season 1, to be honest with you.
I was gonna say, and he's one of the first troopers in that, like the Shinies, the Rishi Moon outpost and stuff. He's one of those and then he's one of the 4 that we meet. In the season 3 episode that actually comes before that, where they're like cadets and stuff.
Yes,
the episode's called Cadets.
I remember that.
These are our main troopers that we're following, and then we know some more 501st. They all end up on the 501st,
of course.
But like we know more 501st members like Tup and Jesse and stuff. Which Jesse was in this.
He was. Like, I was impressed.
And he's now I don't think he had been a ARC trooper until this point.
Well, he was
he's in his ARC trooper gear.
He was in episode 4. I remember that vividly. So that was Well,
he's got that cool face tattoo. But anyway, I'm with you though. I didn't really remember Echo whenever I watched the animatic.
Yeah.
And like now I'm like I can't separate my brain from like knowing these guys. So
no. And the cool thing about Clone Wars is, and I feel like hopefully no one sleeps on it. I don't think anyone does, but some people might not be aware. There's always 3 plot lines or 2 plot lines that go on, 2 different themes. Like the big one, everyone will always, will watch a Clone Wars and want to know what the main characters are going through. But it's who the main characters affect is the big thing. So the one where they escape and they get Echo out, but they bring the war to that small village of people. That's so Clone Wars. And like, dude, the ending of episode 3 was like, seriously, 5 to 6 minutes of a cartoon show with no dialogue, pretty much. Barely any. I mean, like...
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah, it was all war and battle. It was pretty brutal, and watching these creatures die was kind of hard because, like, they, like, spoke backward language, which was pretty sick.
Yeah.
But, like, it was kind of unsettling watching that, and I was like, dang, like, those... I don't know why I didn't write this in there. I got really excited just now. But the freaking World of the Worlds... looking dudes in that episode 3, they're like walking over the side of the city that they were in.
Oh yeah.
I forget their names. Those droids.
Those giant droids. It's like a spider droid type of thing.
With the little
like a bunch of
head that spins. Oh, it's incredible.
Yeah. That's like from the Clone Wars movie too.
Yes.
Those things were in there. And
yes.
It made those things kind of intimidating and scary. It's almost like what the Mandalorian did for ATSTs.
It did exactly
in that episode 4, man. Like, it made those things imposing, and you're like, I thought Crusher I thought Wrecker was going to get crushed.
Yes,
Crusher is like the guy from Looney Tunes who lifts weights, I think. But I don't know. Yeah, you're right. It really like, and Clone Wars does this. Star Wars does this in general.
Crusher's also the guy that breaks the truck. That drives the truck in Big Fat Liar. So.
Oh,
yes.
Okay. Oh, I haven't seen that in a while now. But all I remember is Blue Paul Giamatti.
Yes, yes. It was shortly after that sequence. Anyway, sorry.
But anyway, just know. It's funny to me, like all the people who were freaking out because they wrote anti-war or something, or on the board at the thing. Now, again, not to bring the negativity, but it's like Star Wars has always been anti-war. The point of Star Wars is to show you that there are horrible things going on.
Yes,
horrible things happen when
people are selfish.
Sometimes you have to fight these battles.
Yep.
And it's great that they had the help from those natives, but at the same time, it's like that's still horrible.
Exactly,
it's a horror, and it's like this shouldn't have to happen. It's senseless, and that is the point. You know? Like that. The point is not like war good. We should fight more.
The dude was like, "Don't bring the war.
We're fighting to end wars." Yeah. And
then they did.
We're fighting to end war.
Gotta fight it now. Gotta handle it. It was great, but Wat Tambor, and also the other Wat Tambors. that was pretty cool. I will say that. And to kind of like go to the final episode,
Matt Lambor and Steve Jeremy. There you go.
Iggy, Blinky,
Steve
and Clyde.
Jeremy. He has two first names.
Steve Jeremy. No, the next one I will bring up is episode 4. And Jerry, there's kind of something you wanted to talk about. There's an episode of the there is an episode of the Bombadcast that'll probably be releasing in April, maybe end of March. You're planning on. That kind of deals with like something. Jerry, you go on your rant. I know that you want to bring this up.
You guys know me that I come up with like the most random parts of Star Wars that are so blink and you miss them, almost insignificant, but it's those things that you see and you're like, this is Star Wars.
Yeah.
I talked about with our R2-D2 episode, like that moment with Anakin and R2 flying out of the ship and it's blowing up from the inside, and then like, look, one of ours out of the main hold. That part, for some reason, that gets me emotional. Just like it's a moment where I go, that is Star Wars.
Yes.
It's like they all cheer and go woohoo. It's like people fighting against tyranny, and like the good being victorious over giant horrific evil, like greedy people trying to take things that aren't theirs. And it's just that is Star Wars, and just moments like that, or just moments not even like big like emotional moments or moments that maybe don't feel like, just things that are like, that is cool, that is Star Wars. One of those moments. This is another part of the DNA of Star Wars right here, and I can't believe I didn't tweet about it, but crazy weeks have been happening recently. But we released those previews of the episodes before, the little clip, and there was the clip of Obi-Wan and Mace landing in that giant...
what'd they call it? Hangar bay, maybe?
It was a giant hangar, like, packed with B1s and B2s.
It was awesome.
And I mean, absolutely jam-packed. And it's just them landing first. The clones hadn't come in yet. And Mace goes on that speech of like, I am Jedi Master Mace Windu. I've dismantled over blah, blah, blah of you B1s through the Clone Wars. I'm giving you a chance to lay down your weapons and be... That whole spiel is so like cheesy, but it's so space fantasy. It's so Star Wars. It's so Indiana Jones, even almost. It's so Luke Skywalker.
It is.
Standing on the skiff, man. I'm getting chills now. I'm getting more excited about this. I want to go watch this episode again because he's like standing there saying, Jabba, free us or die, basically. It's like, dude, okay, it's just two of us, but we ultimately, look, the Jedi were flawed and they did go against their own values to fight these wars. But dude, that Mace frickin' Windu is standing there and he's being like as Samuel Jackson as they come and going like, doing a Luke style speech, but
Yep.
also just like, I want to give you the opportunity and all that. And just the Obi-Wan, like how Obi-Wan is so serious in the original trilogy, but he's also hilarious, like
He
in the
is.
prequels and all that. And he goes, well, it was worth a shot.
So good.
Worth a try.
Well, I
And
love
just,
the
that is
pause.
so Star Wars.
It was the
is
pause
so
that made it so funny because he goes in this rant and then it's just like dead air and he's like, blast him. And it just-
Exactly.
it's so
exactly.
good.
Like blast him. Like what they always say. Matthew Wood, you're a genius.
Genius.
Oh, I love the battle droids. I don't
So
care what anybody
funny.
says, man.
So
good
funny.
to have them back. It's so good to have.
Oh, there's
battle
been
droids.
a ton of Roger Rogers this entire first 4 episodes. It's been
But
great.
There was a couple of scenes that made me laugh uncontrolled, or just laugh because the battle droids are hilarious. and I
Episode
forgot what
4
they
was
were.
great. I'll tell you one in a second.
You'll
for
have to,
episode 4.
well, but like, tell me though what you're like, because you kind of that really stuck out to you too. So you rant about it a little.
Oh,
bit,
that
man.
scene in particular. There's
Like what were you like? Just the whole. I don't know. Do you have anything else to say about that whole speech by Mace and all?
You
that,
did a
man?
great
Like,
job at summing up the Luke part because I didn't think about that. It's
I didn't. I just now thought of it.
It's
I
also
just now thought of
Han
it.
with Jesus Scott.
Was with Jabba again, where he's like, "You
no,
tell that
no.
piece of slime-ridden filth,
No.
you'll get no such pleasure from us."
Why do I want to keep saying Mother Talzin? What the hell?
Oh, you're thinking of everyone's favorite.
What's wrong with us?
My gosh, you've got my brain disease.
I
today.
do.
What is it? Everyone is shouting it into their.
I know.
into the ether right now.
Hashtag make Solo 2 happen, but we
You should.
can't.
I know it.
The worm people. Son of a
You
gun.
should leave every bit of this in. Do not edit this out, or you can. I
Worm
guess.
Han Solo lady.
It is Mother
Lady
Lady
Proxima.
Proxima.
Yes. Lady
Got there about the
Proxima.
same time, maybe a little before.
But that was
So
Han's
that's
Lady
what made me
Proxima
before.
speech. Same like confidence, like I've got a thermal detonator.
Yeah.
And he's like,
That's a rock."
You know, it's like the same principle. It's
I
like,
love Lady Proxima.
all for the sake of distraction. Or like,
Yes.
did Mace really think they were going to be like, oh shit, we should really put our weapons down? Like,
Right.
you know? But
No, I mean, I think, but at the same time, I love that it's like I'm gonna try to take the high road here.
yes.
I'm a Jedi.
Yes.
Like, please give up. I don't
That he
want
does-
to completely annihilate you.
that he does. It's amazing.
But I will.
No, he says,
And I'll
you should-
probably enjoy it too.
He says something like along the lines like you should go get reprogrammed to do something less destructive or something.
You'll be
like,
programmed to stop spreading fear. Or
That was
something.
it.
It was a great line, dude. I'm like, this is the tyranny and the fear of the separatists.
Yes.
Be reprogrammed for a better purpose. I was
yes.
like, it's so cool that he's like, no, we'll reprogram you and give you a better purpose, which we have droids now in canon who, later
Yeah.
on who end up getting
Oh,
better
yeah.
purposes, B1s and stuff. But I love it, man. I
know.
love that. And
It's great.
It also is the closest we're ever gonna get to the Genndy Tartakovsky Mace
You're right.
Windu who annihilates
Dude, I was
the
gonna
entire
say
field
that.
of droids.
I
Because
was
that's what
gonna
it
say
immediately
that.
reminded me of. I
I
know
thought they
that's a
would
lot
do-
of people's favorite. So
Well, I thought they were gonna end up going down that route for a hot second. Like he like jumps into him and like explodes a whole lot of them and like lightsaber twist. 20
he just
of them.
like goes full Force Unleashed and
Yeah,
just
Star
like
Killer.
pulls like oh my goodness.
That's
I-
amazing.
Yeah.
With that moment, we also get the return of Admiral Trench, who is slightly hinted at episode 1, but we get a full visual of him in episode 4 of this season. And
Well, I mean, he's a little throughout, but dude, Admiral Trench is amazing.
B movie villain. It's great. Just like
Well,
you're like,
who was I
just the-
watching it with? My brother-in-law was here, and he hasn't seen all the way through Clone Wars yet. And I was watching it with him last Sunday morning when he was like, him and my sister-in-law had stayed over. And I just had it playing, and we were talking, because I'd seen it already. And
Yeah.
he goes, is that a spider guy? And I was like, yeah, dude.
he's a
Yeah,
short
he
guy.
loves like he's had tons of tarantulas over his lifetime. That's like his go-to pet.
Oh, nice.
Because he's a psychopath. But I love you, Andrew, if you're listening to this. But no, he was like, there's a spider guy? I'm like, heck yeah, my man.
It's Spider-Man. This
it's
is
such a cool aesthetic.
Oh, it
man.
is.
I just love it.
And he's
cybernetic halfway.
Well, I love that too because I don't think he was in the first season, was he? Didn't he have
No,
to
the first appearance, no. And he gets blown up, we think, and then he comes back a couple seasons later. He does come back later on, and he's got that cybernetic stuff.
Well, the next thing I want to get into, which is the part that made me have like the part where you said the Obi-Wan part, or not the Obi-Wan part, was it the part that made you yell? What's the part that made you yell out loud?
That was the Obi-Wan.
Okay.
Like, whoa, man, oh, snap.
Mine was, my moment for that, this first arc was when Anakin walks in there and he's like, messing with Trench, and I'm like, oh my god!
Oh, that got me too. I
was watching it before we started this, and
it's so close to Revenge of the Sith Anakin because he's like, I don't care,
and then he lightsabers his arms off, lets him
he's like
suffer.
So tired. Well, you gotta he's so tired of the war.
Oh my god!
It's like, you get it, but it's also like, Anakin, slow down, dude.
Yeah. Well, he cuts off his arms, he lobs off his arms, lets him suffer for a second. Give me the last number, I won't give it to you. And he has the blade up against his throat. And I'm like, oh my god, no, very unlike a Jedi. And we haven't really seen that much in Clone Wars. And then the next one was the best. When he gets the number and he stabs it through his chest, but through the chair, that was very Star Wars.
That was almost season 1 Clone Wars too. Like that happens with that one dude who helps free Newt Gunray, but like
yep.
I don't have COVID. I promise.
Getting it digitally. No.
Oh, dude, we're in the apocalypse now, where people are just coughing insanely on. Anyway. Go on.
Well, that moment was beautiful, and the look in his eyes,
was amazing.
I was like, "Geez," that was the moment where I kind of got loud. But
I love how Revenge of the Sith that was.
Well, yeah, and I love that it's always been hinted at in Clone Wars that he has no moral compass. Sometimes, like when he killed what's his face, who
it's like you mess with his friends.
Oh yeah,
or anything, or even his men. He is so close to his clone battalion. At least most of the ones that we know.
Yeah.
Where it's like you're messing with people that he loves, and Anakin, it's something the Jedi say is a weakness, and maybe that's where his downfall. I'm getting too psychological.
No, it's all good
into all that, but I'm excited to see more of Anakin kind of almost lose it.
Me too. I hope
because it again adds more of that context, dude,
it does.
To Revenge of the Sith. It makes it less like, okay, now why is he just going with this dude now?
Exactly. And so the next thing to kind of wrap this whole little discussion up, this is a good one, Jerry. This has been fun. Echo being the final addition to the Bad Batch was so clever, and I didn't see it. I really didn't see it coming, to be frank, because I'm thinking
I didn't remember that. I didn't remember if that was in the. Well, I think it was, but yeah.
One thing I will say is what a better way to write off a character, to bring him back and then write him off very quickly, only because you would have seen or heard of him at some point, maybe in Rebels. But we'll see what they do with these characters they wrote for this, because I don't think their journey's done. If anything, like I said earlier, they probably have all their inhibitor chips taken out.
Yeah.
Somehow they probably took them
excited.
out. Or I don't know.
I'm excited to see how far we get into all that, because we know Rex and Wolf and Gregor get theirs out for sure.
Yep, definitely.
I am excited to just. Dive into all that stuff.
It's going to be amazing.
But I just now realized how awesome it is and almost redeeming for the clones that we've killed off most of those clones that we've been following. Mm-hmm. We've lost a lot of them, and it's because we're getting you attached, and then you can have an emotional reaction when they're gone. But that Echo kind of gets to live on, and we get to wonder if they get their, like you said, the inhibitor chips up. But just that, it's I love the Dave Filoni school of, we're all like, oh, that person's not in the movie, so they've got to be dead now.
And Dave's no.
Dave and George are like, it's not, guys, you don't have to, why are we deathmongers?
Well, it's just like Ahsoka in The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
Same difference.
She doesn't have to be dead there either.
That's the point.
it's for Skype, man. Like Yoda did it with her and Ezra. You know.
Yeah, but
watch an animated show every now and then, guys. And if you're listening to this, hopefully you have.
Yes, and to kind of wrap this all up, Gerald, this was probably the best way to start this new season. Wasn't too Ahsoka heavy, wasn't too lore heavy, wasn't too spoilery.
Not any Ahsoka, man. Like it's still like it felt like we were continuing from season 6, like we said earlier. Like,
well, the big question is, we still got what is it? We got 4 episodes. So we have 12 episodes. So we still have 3 more arcs, possibly.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 more arcs. We'll see. Because Clone Wars does throw in the 2-episode arc every now and then.
Yeah,
and, hopefully we get that. But
they've done 3 episodes too, I think.
Yeah,
right? Like, yeah. So but they never go over 4.
I have a feeling the last one will be a 4-episode arc. The last 4 episodes are going to be huge.
Yeah, so, I think so. But at the guys, we've probably already seen what the next episode is going to be by now. I don't know if we know what the next one coming out Friday is going to be or not. But what's the next arc, you think? Like,
I don't know. Do we
know?
Maybe when Ahsoka meets those two young ladies.
I'm kind of hoping we do go to Ahsoka because I'm like ready. Like,
me too.
I told you, man. We were talking, after I watched The Wrong Jedi or something.
Yeah.
That whole Ahsoka's last arc we've had right now to date. I'm ready for some Ahsoka.
I'm looking forward to it. I really am.
Bring her back in.
So we'll see. You doing some research right now to see if you can find it?
Yeah. I'm trying to find the.
Well, I will say this. More than likely, we'll end up getting probably.
Here we go. Sorry, it's Gone with a Trace, season 7, episode 5, and listed in the cast is Ashley Eckstein.
Looks like it. We're
so good. It's looking like we're gonna get some Ahsoka action and her new friends.
Yes,
the sisters.
I'm excited,
dude. We're gonna get some Underworld action. Coruscant Underworld.
I bet we'll get a bunch of Easter eggs in this.
Is it like 1313 that they're on?
Yeah.
Like what's the level? Is it really 1313?
Pretty sure.
Because that's cool. I bet they're throwing stuff in that we haven't gotten. You can tell, and they're also just throwing little Easter eggs. And like you said, guys, it's
little stuff like the Obi-Wan.
This is gonna be awesome.
Interaction about Padme was so unexpected, but so juicy. And literally only like one line and like a 2-minute sequence.
Yes.
It's like I'm wanting more stuff like that, which we will get. I know it will get.
And to the Easter eggs running the gamut from that's really more even just like a story thing. Like,
yes.
That's a big story thing. But just like even the Fear Nox being on this planet and stuff was just and Scotty, the big part of episode 4 was just real quick, I think this is the base from Rebels in the asteroid belt.
Was there more?
They said that bomb was big enough to destroy the planet in the core, and they stopped it. I wonder if the Empire sets it off.
Wow.
Or somehow it gets set off some other time. So they didn't do it in this arc, obviously, but there must be something. I think Filoni's setting up some dominoes to push down whatever. Or like something the story group's like, hey, put that in that book.
That's cool. Wow.
Yeah, dude. I noticed that because I was like, are they going to end this with the planet blowing up? But no, Mace got it. So
yeah. It was a solid arc and
solid, man.
Thank you everyone for joining us to this little discussion. This is so exciting. I'm like, I can't wait to do more of these. Hopefully we'll have at least 4 more under our belt. And by the way, not to hype anyone up, but like next series they do, let's say it's a Rebels sequel, if they end up, I know it's rumored,
if they have those rumors, man, I'm gonna lose my mind.
If for Mando, you should expect things like this. There's gonna be a lot of stuff coming out in the near future. We might even have a Galaxy of Adventures once all of those are out. We'll end up doing a recap on them. So please don't sleep on these animated episodes. And y'all, thank you so much for joining us on this after arc journey. Anything else you want to add, Jerry, before we end this?
No, just again, like if you want more Star Wars, man, the animation is just amazing. So just don't sleep on it. Give it all a chance.
Definitely. But sorry. I saw something on my phone. Paul Stanley tweeted, and I got very excited. And
Paul, oh man,
yeah, you know what's really weird?
What's that?
He hasn't been showing up lately. He's been leaving me ransom letters, but it's signed by him at the very end of each one, and I know his signature.
Wow,
yeah,
that is insane.
Yeah,
well,
has to do with it's all about 2% versus whole milk, and I cannot figure it out. I genuinely, I don't know what it is about. It's hard to read because they're ransom, but they're all Kiss font, and they're just cut from magazines. So that I'm sure
it's cut from his album covers that he has. He has like
Yeah.
tons of copies.
Yes.
Well, you know what's funny with all our character work we've been doing with real people recently is I think we might have spoken something into the universe with poor Alex Jones. And
Definitely.
I think we got him in trouble over the last week. So who am I kidding? The man gets himself in trouble.
Yes.
But anyway.
Thank y'all so much for joining this
Thank you guys for stopping
world's
by.
first After Arc show. And Jerry, what should the good people do?
You should, go out there and tell everyone about the world's first ever After Art show.
Please.
We'll see you guys in 3 to 4 weeks. For this edition of the Bombadcast. But actually, this is our After Arc show. It is
unpredictable.
Very unpredictable. And we forget the name all the time. Experience outranks everything, guys. Thank you for joining us. Stay Bombad. We'll see you later.
All Bombad.